Alright guys, Subscriber here back again today. Hope you're all enjoying your Monday. A few topics to discuss today. Yesterday there were some exhibition matches in the CDL, London Royal Ravens versus the Florida Mutineers, and then the Paris Legion versus the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Couple of interesting matches. We will go through all the results on the scoreboards as well, but the interesting part really is that the London Royal Ravens team, we expected Nasty to be in the starting squad. We talked about this change. Rated, of course, not particularly happy in being moved out of the team. Whether that was the right or wrong move, who knows. I was kind of looking forward to seeing this team in action to see whether that would prove to be the correct decision going forwards. But Nasty wasn't in the team yesterday and said Seany is in the team instead. So a very interesting situation. What exactly is going on here? I believe Maven said on stream it might be some sort of visa issue. So let's jump into that in the coming minutes. Like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new as always. Let's hop right into things then. First of all, I just wanted to mention the 1Ks that went on this weekend. We have this in the ANZ region. Renegades, of course, Fighter Swifty, Setsi, Pred and Crimsa, who surprised they won the 1K over there. Then the European one, kind of interesting given that Singularity are actually playing in the North American one this week. So Afro, BB Connor, Disarray, Fusions and Gizmo won this one. BB Connor on a, I forget what it was called. Was it Fuego Gaming, the Mad Cat team from Champs last year? I believe he was on that squad. And then the Team War team effectively with Harry, I guess, on this team now. Pretty interesting. So some changes maybe going on in Europe or just some substitution stuff. And then in the North American 1K series, Singularity Esports take it down. Goth Maple bids inside Detain and Emigrant Chain. They ended up winning it. Don't know why Chain has the English flag here. He's from Northern Ireland, I believe. But an attempt was made at the very least. And this is the result. So I'm not exactly sure why they were over in the States here. I believe they had a boot camp planned a while ago now, but I didn't really think it was going to still go ahead given the whole global pandemic situation. But they ended up winning it, beating out UYU, the Atlanta FaZe Academy as well. So Cells, Rex, Infamous, Hollow and Draz are now on that UYU team. But Singularity make it work, so have to see how that develops going forwards. Who knows what the online league looks like? Of course, we talked about yesterday, Scump talking about it. Looks like it's going to be tournament format. What does that mean for the amateurs though? Hopefully we get some announcement this week at the very, very least indeed. But now we've been 2 weekends effectively since Censor said that they had everything worked out and we still haven't heard anything. I can't imagine they're just going to announce it midweek for no reason. Like, you'd have thought they'd have announced it like on a weekend at some point, either a Friday or a Sunday, but maybe the announcement will come tonight and I will be proven wrong. Let's talk about these games last night then. So, Rated tweeted this out a couple of days ago, actually about to lose my bloody marbles. I think he did another tweet just before this as well, where he wasn't particularly happy with the situation. Today's officially chalked my life as an actual meme. Now, of course, we don't know what he's referring to here, but I thought it was kind of interesting in the context that, as it turns out, these two matches yesterday, as Cronut CDL Intel says, keep an eye on London's roster. There's a chance Nasty won't be playing. Seany likely taking his spot. So Rated goes out the team for Nasty. At the time, I was kind of down for this move, but who really knows whether it's beneficial in the long run. But it seems to me it was a change based on the meta. They thought, okay, we'll have Nasty up there with Jerd and Dylan right at the front lines. You know, maybe keep Wuskin on the main AR and put Scraps in, keep Scraps in the team as well. So it seemed like that was their thought process going into the change. But then with Nasty not being able to play for whatever reason, we'll discuss in a second, and Seany in the team does just look strange to me. And I'm sure Rated isn't exactly in the best mood about this, right? Because they've made this change with Nasty for, whatever reason, whether that was the right or wrong reason, and then Nasty's out of the team for Seany instead of Rated, who, of course, Seany, an assault rifle player typically. So, what's the difference there, really? I'm sure it can't be great from an internal side, right? So, okay, interesting. Nasty ends up not playing, as we see right here, but he is playing later in the day, so Seany COD, after they played all these exhibition matches, Seany then said 5v5 fist bump shell, me, Nasty, Alex, Dylan, and Cammy. So, the UK gang, basically, versus the North American guys, and Zero, of course, in this team. He's also from the UK, but interesting one regardless. But you can see that Nasty is there over in the States playing in competitive play, but he clearly maybe doesn't have his visa sorted out to actually work and play like this, because it's an interesting situation right now. We live in a more advanced time in esports more generally, and Call of Duty esports. I imagine Nasty moved over to the States a couple of weeks ago now, just before the whole COVID stuff rained down hell upon us. But, you know, he's gone out there, I believe maybe on an ESTA, which is kind of like basically just a travel visa, but you can't work on it. And I imagine London Royal Ravens and maybe the league is working to get him a proper visa so he can work on. So I understand maybe that if he's on an ESTA and he's playing in this online tournament, then legally that doesn't look very good, right? So I can understand that Activision and the guys over there are kind of worried about that being the case. And when they made this change and brought Nastie in the team, London Royal Ravens said, as pretty much all the other teams have done when they make changes, pending league approval, right? Like, we'd like to have Nastie in the starting lineup. I still do believe that's the case, but looks like they weren't able to do it right now. But the interesting part of that is, instead of Rated being there, Shawnee's the guy there. And I believe I saw a Instagram post a couple of weeks ago now where Shawnee was out in the States with the team. Rated wasn't there, I believe, and that's before Nastie was even in the States. So at that time, people were thinking, damn, is Shawnee going to be in the starting lineup? Didn't look like it. You know, Nastie comes over and is meant to be in the starting lineup, I believe. But, you know, Shawnee filling in for now, which is interesting given that Rated was the starting guy in the lineup. You know, Shawnee for Rated, why is the Shawnee the guy out there potentially subbing in rather than Rated being out there? Why is he not being considered right now? Many big questions, right? Especially because Shawnee and Rated have kind of played similar roles throughout the last couple of years. Who's been better as a player? It's difficult to say. Like, I watch Shawnee and I think he's really, like, nasty. I think he's a great player to watch. Really, really exciting and can play different roles. But Rated probably has been a superior player over the last few years. So I'm sure he's pretty frustrated at the situation we find ourselves in right now. So interesting how this has all developed internally, and I wonder what the team management has had to, you know, what role they've had to play in this one. This is a discussion here on Reddit. Isn't Nastie stuck in the UK while Shawnee is in the States? Nastie made it to North America, so this is Crone at CDL Intel, with a few hours to spare before lockdown. Not sure in the exact situation, but I heard he's not allowed to play, maybe visa issues or something. I don't know how it all works, but Maven said that he hasn't gotten his visa yet, so he can't play. That's what he said on the broadcast. Bizarre scenario. Would have thought Rated coming back in made more sense. Interested to see if anyone explains the decision. Shawnee seems to be holding his own though, despite spending the early season on the bench. So interesting, the EU Reaper squad who's been challenging the NA squads is a beast in those. Now, I definitely rate Shawnee as a player. I honestly think he's really, really good. But a very interesting situation to find that it's not Rated back in the team after that seemed to be the change that they were deciding to make. So, very, very questionable situation we have right now. But let's go through some of the results of these chals and whether we can actually read anything into this. So, this was just an exhibition match. They didn't play any search and destroy or anything like that. So, it's just the respawns we're going to be looking at here. But this first series of London Royal Ravens, I imagine they have been scrimming with Nastie rather than Shawnee, because if that's going to be their starting lineup, you would imagine they were going to be scrimming with Nastie in the team instead of Shawnee. But just for this exhibition match, they can't play with them, and hopefully they get the visa sorted over the next couple of days, I imagine. But as I say, we haven't heard any decision making here, so it could be the other way around. But yeah, Scraps goes off. Shawnee actually has a really, really good map number 1 as well. Jerb with a lot of engagements, and Wuskin doesn't take over this series by any means, which is a good sign for London, to be honest. You don't want Wuskin dropping a 1.4 because it means the rest of your guys aren't really contributing so much, even though he has done so far. I guess a storyline to keep your eyes on it for the Florida team, and as I say, this is all respawns. Effectively, it's like a 10 series type of chal, but you have the proper teams here. But, you know, we've talked about how Bastini not being allowed back into this Florida starting lineup, even though a lot of people, myself included, think that they would probably be a better team if that is the case. But there's the chemistry thing and the fact that Bastini took some time out. Maybe the team's thinking, do you want to bring him back in just in case that situation arrives again? But the question a lot of people have been saying is, look, Morks on this role that he's playing right now isn't going to be the best in terms of slang, and I think you do kind of see that this series. But of course, it's difficult to read into anything just off statistics, right? There's a lot more to Call of Duty than that. But then we have this map number 2, Domination on Gunrunner. Mutineers managed to take this one down here. Pharaoh top frags 23 and 19 in this one. Then map number 3, Hardpoint, they go back to Hackney Yard here. Dylan has a really, really good map on this one. He was a lot of fun to watch on this map. Seems to be playing really, really well. Wuskin, this is his home map. I swear I've never seen him have a bad map on Hackney Yard. It's unbelievable. Some good slaying out of them, 250 to 175. Then the Domination, Mutineers managed to win it again. So both Dominations going the way of Mutineers, and all 3 hardpoints going in favour of London Royal Ravens. Kind of interesting situation. Well, I say he's never had a bad map on Hackney Yard. 16 and 20 right here, but you know, they end up losing a pretty close 4 to Pharaoh in this one. Frosty goes 31 in 23, so fair play to him. Got to say the colours are actually looking really, really good on these scoreboards now as well, so that's nice to see that. I think they've stepped up their game a little bit in terms of how good the game is to watch from a viewer's perspective. And I believe this was all played live as well, which is a good sign. I'm pretty sure it was played live. I don't think it was pre-recorded, because I remember map number 1, they were having some technical difficulties with Maven and Merk casting over it, which says to me that this was played live. Didn't have any DDoSing issues or anything like that, so that says to me that they're going to try and play the league that is upcoming in a live format rather than pre-record everything and then stream it as if it were live. That's definitely the ideal situation, in my opinion, because otherwise you risk, things getting leaked out and results getting come out, and, what are the chances that the pros can manage to keep their mouths shut for 12, 24, 48 hours, whatever it is, if everything's going to be pre-recorded. We talked about the possibility of that, but it does seem like, as far as I'm aware, this was played live. Let me know if I'm wrong. And we see this map 3, Pharaoh takes over again. Morks, 17 and 27, not ideal. Havoc has a great map, but yeah, Morks just not putting up the numbers that maybe you would expect for that role on the team. So questions might be raised here, but at the end of the day, it's a friendly match. There's nothing on the line here, but losing all 3 hard points maybe isn't the best sign, given that domination is kind of random at times, given it doesn't really play that well, in my opinion, in this game right now. This was the only map here on map 1, Gunrunner Hardpoint versus Legion versus Guerrillas, that there wasn't a proper scoreboard, so we'll just have to run through it right here just before the game ends up finishing off. But yeah, Kismet has a good map 1, but Guerrillas ended up taking it down. Vivid, 42 and 35, pretty remarkable stuff, and this is the kind of players, like Spark doesn't have a great map, but the guys like Vivid coming into this squad, this is where you expect them to have a good impact playing online. Like on LAN, these guys are going to be kind of nervous. It's not going to be their ideal environment. They didn't do so well at their very first event. But in an online environment where these guys are comfortable at home, you would expect these young guys to just dominate the games. Not necessarily dominate, but definitely be up there and performing at the best that they can be, because it's obviously going to take time to get to a good level on LAN. So that's something to keep an eye on here for the upcoming season. These guys with the cracked out young guys, I think it's going to benefit teams like Guerrillas that are making these changes to these guys that don't have too much LAN experience, but playing at home and online isn't going to be any issue for them, and that's right in their comfort zone. This was map number 3 here, or map number 2 even, domination on Gunrunner. This time the Los Angeles Los Angeles Guerrillas lose it. Paris Legion end up winning it. Good map here from Dent. He only has 11 deaths somehow, like pretty rock-centered assault rifle. Almost has the 2KD. They win the domination here on this map, but once again, Los Angeles Guerrillas run away with a hardpoint, 250 to 183 here on Ramaza. Blast has a good map, and Vivid once again 30 and 22. So just what we talked about map 1, he absolutely dominating in terms of the engagements. He had so many engagements map 1, and here once again dropping 30 kills. And then the final map of the series, domination on Hackney Yard, the only series of the 2 that didn't go to a game 5 here. Guerrillas take it, and Vivid, not the best map this time, but pretty good, well-rounded effort from the rest of the team. Blast 21 and 16, and they ended up taking the domination down. A lot of the times in domination, the kills, the slaying doesn't matter too much if you've got the objective play going on, because some kills in domination matter hugely more than others. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Some interesting stuff that we talked about today. Just wanted to mention this, that I might go into more detail on tomorrow. Scump versus Pengu right now in this ESPN esports Twitter poll tournament thing, that a lot of the Rainbow Six community have been retweeting this and trying to make sure Scump loses this one. He hasn't done any tweets or anything about this so far, so I thought it was pretty entertaining. If you guys have seen this tweet about, feel free to vote, because it would be a nice victory for the Call of Duty community. We need to stay undefeated on our Twitter game, and there was a bit of drama that went back and forth about it on Twitter, so I may well talk about that in tomorrow's video, because kind of entertaining stuff. Like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.